Hello, can you hear me? Please don't go. Where are you going? Conversations go over my head. Isolation has an ugly face. Surround me with your love. Understand me, I need you now. Surround me with your words. Understand me, I need your love. I need your love. I need your love.
Hello and welcome once again, wherever you may be on the planet.
I'm so lonely.
And what have I got today? The first long piece from Gurdjieff is about the powers of the Kesdjan body. The Kesdjan body is the subtle body, or the middle body in Gurdjieff's three-body theorem of our inner structure. The physical, the Kesdjan, and the soul bodies. Three bodies intertwined like Russian dolls. And there's more material from Gurdjieff at the end, meetings in Paris. And between them, Luke 11, and a trip I took to the Victoria and Albert Museum last weekend. It was later when Saint Lama appeared, specially for the beings of the country of Tibet. He found in his turn that many instructions of Saint Buddha still corresponded very well with the psyche of the beings of that country, provided certain details were modified in accordance with the changes in external conditions of existence due to the passage of time. So he also included in the basis of his teaching many instructions from the truths already revealed by Saint Krishnakarna before him, and renewed by Saint Buddha. And once again this small group of initiated beings, as well as other followers of Saint Buddha, sensing clearly that the additions and changes brought to this teaching by Saint Lama corresponded better to the contemporary psyche, became followers of Saint Lama. Among the beings of this small group there was a rule which, by the way, they observed very strictly, according to which certain secret instructions of Saint Lama concerning the beings of their group could be transmitted from generation to generation through their leader alone, and he could initiate the other 6 of his deputies into these secrets only after certain attainments on their part. This is why the 6 members of this small group, all of whom already merited and were ready to receive initiation in the near future, were so horrified when they learned of the destruction of the Tibetan leader. With the loss of this sole initiate of that time, they were deprived forever of the possibility of becoming initiated themselves into these secret instructions of Saint Lama. And owing to the fact that their leader was killed so unexpectedly, it was even doubtful whether they could use the sole remaining possibility of receiving these instructions by communicating with the reason of their dead leader, by means of the process of the sacred Alts Noshino, a process which they already knew, and for which moreover they had in themselves all the required data. But probably, my dear boy, you know nothing as yet of this sacred process. Al-Snoshino is the process by means of which certain three-scented beings, who have been able to attain the coating of their own Kesdjan bodies up to completed functioning, and to a definite degree of reason, intentionally bring about the coating, or as is otherwise said, the materialization of the Kesdjan body, of a being whose planetary body has ceased to exist, up to such a density that this second body regains for a limited time the possibility of manifesting through certain functions proper to its former planetary body. In our great universe, besides the process of the materialization or the intentional coating of the Kesdjan body of a being whose planetary body has ceased to exist, there is another process called the most sacred Gerimetli, and this other most sacred process consists in this. First of all, the highest being body, namely the body of the soul, is intentionally coated, and only after that, as in the first case, is the sacred Al-Snoshinu actualized. Of course, it is possible to carry out these processes only if such higher being bodies are still in those spheres which are in contact with the atmosphere of the planet where these holy sacraments are performed. These materializations, evoked intentionally and consciously by certain beings, can exist, and a connection and communication with them can be maintained, only as long as these beings consciously feed the Kesdjan body with their own sacred Aisakladon. Thus, those 6 remaining members of the small group of 7 might have had recourse to the same sacred process of Al-Snoshino for communicating with the reason of their destroyed leader, if they had foreseen the possibility of his sudden disappearance, and while he was still in existence had made a certain preparation that was indispensable for accomplishing this process. In order to understand the essence of this preparation for the sacred process of the sacrament of Al-Snoshinu, you need to know about 2 special properties of being Hambled Zoin, that is, the blood of the Kesdjan body. The first of these properties of the being Hambled Zoin consists in this, that if any part of it is separated and removed from the rest, then no matter where and how far away it is taken, a sort of thread-like connection is formed between this part and the principal concentration of this cosmic substance. This connection, moreover, is formed of the same substance, and its density and thickness increase or diminish in proportion to the distance between the principal concentration and this separated part. And the second special property of this Hambled Zoin is that if a part of it is again introduced accidentally or intentionally into the principal concentration of this substance, no matter where this concentration may be, or in what quantity the Hambled Zoin is introduced, it blends with the Hambled Zoin of the original concentration and is distributed uniformly throughout it, both as regards density and quantity. And so, since the Kesdjan body of the being is coated with substances that in their totality make this cosmic formation much lighter than the mass of cosmic substances composing the atmosphere surrounding the planets, the Kesdjan body is no sooner separated from the planetary body of the being than it rises according to the cosmic law called Tenik Doa, or as it is sometimes called the law of gravity, to that sphere in which it finds the density that corresponds with its own mass, and which is thus the place corresponding to such cosmic arisings. In view of all this, the preparation required for the sacrament of the sacred Al-Snoshinu consists in removing beforehand, during his planetary existence, a part of the Hambled Zoin of the being, on whose Kesdjan body this sacred process is to be performed after his death, and this part must either be kept in some corresponding surplanetary formation, or be introduced into those beings who perform this ritual and intentionally blended with the Hambled Zoin of their own Kesdjan bodies. Thus, when the perfected three-brained being, predesignated for the sacrament of the Alms no Shinu, ceases his planetary existence and his Kesdjan body is separated from his planetary body, then, thanks to the first special property of this being Hambled Zoin, that connection I have just told you about begins to establish itself between his Kesdjan body and the place when the part of his Hambled Zoin had been preserved beforehand, or with those beings who have intentionally coated this particle in their own Kesdjan bodies. In order to be clear about this question in our subsequent talks, I must tell you here that this connection, one end of which is kept in the Kesdjan body that has risen to its corresponding sphere, and the other end of which stays either within those surplanetary formations where the part of the general mass of the Hambled Zoin was fixed, or in those beings who intentionally blended it with the Hambled Zoin of their own Kesdjan body, can exist in space for only a limited period, that is, until the planet on which the given being had arisen has completed one revolution around its sun. At the beginning of a new revolution, such connections completely disappear, and they disappear because, in the atmosphere surrounding each planet, the evolution and involution of the cosmic substances required for the great cosmic Trogo-Auto-Egocrat, in accordance with the fundamental sacred law of Heptaparapashanok, again commence, flowing only for the Trogo-Auto-Egocratic process of local character, that is, within the limits of the autonomous activity of the given solar system. And as a result, all cosmic substances without exception which happen to be in the atmosphere during the period of this revolution, including the said connections, are immediately transformed into cosmic substances corresponding to this atmosphere. All this is literal, and as far as my own knowledge is likely to be accurate. You can see here quite a deep knowledge of the subject. It is not just said that it's possible to communicate with somebody after death willy-nilly. There are specific technical limitations. There are possibilities and there are impossibilities because it concerns real material things and real material powers that can, in exceptional circumstances upon the earth, be developed by very unusual people who are able to bring what is sacred down to the earth. Sacred, I assume, means it comes from the higher part of us. Today in the Western world there is really a lot of chaos and a lot of fear and a lot of strange things happening, and the more I listen, the more I realize these people don't really understand very much about their own lives, and that such knowledge is necessary for human beings. They cannot continue without more detailed understanding of who they are and what they are to do. Something else I was thinking about a few weeks ago is that a higher man, a spiritualized man, needs a world to live in. He needs something to do. He doesn't just sit on a mountain, he's still alive. Or at least he should be. He should have a work of a higher level. And many of Gurdjieff's ideas, for instance, about the different types of energetic relationships you can have with people, based upon polarity, based upon associative influences, emanations, the position of other phenomena, cosmic phenomena. That is the work of a higher being. And if such a being does the ordinary work of the earth, he should be able to do it with much greater finesse and dexterity. And while I'm on that point, the sense of engaging with the work inside your hands was everything that Gurdjieff tried to do with his own life. The plain work in my hands, I will turn it into a miracle. I will do things with my hands that nobody has ever done. That is how Gurdjieff lived. Because this world was made for you. It was made for your hands, and this is the field that you must plough. I went up to London on the weekend to the Victoria and Albert Museum, the V&A, which is in central London in South Kensington, an incredibly beautiful Victorian part of London, maybe the most beautiful place, a place I've been to 1,000 times in my life. And these buildings, these museums, must be amongst the finest on this planet. And there are 3 museums here. The Museum of Natural History, full of dinosaurs and animals and meteorites. Then there is the Science Museum, where you have steam engines and rockets that go to the moon. And the Victoria and Albert Museum, which is art, textiles. 3 museums. We had planned to go to the Natural History Museum, but the queue was so long it wrapped around the whole building. The Science Museum up the road had a good-sized queue, but across at the V&A, nothing. Such an incredible building you can't even imagine. When you pass through the doors, there's huge space, artworks from all the way around the world, golden Buddhas, kimonos, sculptures, paintings. You can't imagine how beautiful the Victoria and Albert Museum is. No queue at all. And when the trinity of the centres decouples, what is it that decouples first? And what is it that remains? Let me pass on to Luke 11, a passage that I had not heard before. One of the Pharisees invited him to his house for the midday meal. So he went in and sat down at table. The Pharisee, meanwhile, was inwardly surmising, why had he not washed his hands before his meal? And the Lord said to him, You Pharisees are content to cleanse the outward part of the cup and dish, while all within is running with avarice and wickedness. Fools! Did not he who made the outward part make the inward too? Nay, you should give alms out of the store you have, and at once all that is yours becomes clean. Woe upon you, you Pharisees, that will award God his tithe, though it be of mint or rue or whatever herb you will, and leave on one side justice and the love of God. You do ill to forget one duty while you perform the other. Woe upon you, you Pharisees, for loving the first seats in the synagogues, and to have your hands kissed in the marketplace. Woe upon you that are like hidden tombs, which men walk over without knowing it. And here one of the lawyers answered him, Master, he said, in speaking thus thou art bringing us too into contempt. And he said, Woe upon you too, you lawyers, for loading men with packs too heavy to be borne, packs that you yourself would not touch with one finger. Woe upon you for building up the tombs of the prophets, the same prophets who were murdered by your fathers. Sure witness that you approve what your fathers did, since you build tombs for the men they murdered. Woe upon you, you lawyers, for taking away with you the key of knowledge. You have neither entered yourselves, nor let others enter when they would. I notice this in myself. I do a good thing with my right hand in order that what my left hand is doing is not seen. It's a way of me lying. I say America is good and Britain is bad, or Britain is good and France is bad. I can always find a way to balance it out somehow. Inwardly, we are all broken into so many different fragments, and the world outside is broken. It is certainly nothing but a severe trial to be on this planet and to try and find the truth. I have not been able to ask a question about the work for a long time. May I do so now? I am at your service. I've had a lot of difficulty during the separation exercise, and now I'm beginning to feel the substance of the I, which is truly different, something other than my ordinary me. I really feel that this substance is different. Why do you use the word substance? I say substance because it does not yet have any form. Use the word vibrations. All the efforts that I am making at present in order to feel this I arise with it. Find a word other than arise. Yes, intensify, become more dense, and all my efforts at the moment lead to nothing. Find a word other than arise. Become present. Present. Everybody can be present. The word must relate to something to you. What impulse do you wish to feel? I already feel an impulse for this I to be truly detached and free. Say another word instead of free. I would like to feel that I, as a man, I feel these vibrations but not yet as a new man. No, maybe man is shit. Find another word. I'm not asking this for you, but for the others. I begin to feel that I is no longer an idea. I feel that it begins but has no body. Before you never felt your I as independent, but now you say you must feel it. Yes. Then why do you use 1,000 words? When I used the word free, I gave it the same meaning as your word independent. Now I understand. Everybody understands. Before he felt that I and me were stuck together. Now he begins to feel that I is independent. This is good for everyone. And for me too. Thank you for listening. Please take care.
stand.